It looks like a typical day at the office, but it's not. We have a visitor, a distressed father, who wants us to tell his story about how his 6-month-old daughter was raped by an adult male in Kano on February 3rd, 2017. He, however, asked that his face and identity be kept hidden for fear of attacks.
Okay, thank you very much. My wife went out with the baby to pay a visit to a sister, which, how I just decided to get them, I was called that there was a danger going on, which I came back home, we met, I saw the baby was bleeding, I rushed her to a hospital with some of my neighbors. He also examined and see what is coming and asked, well, who took this baby? So we just only narrated to him. So at that stage, he asked my wife that, where did she took the baby? And she narrated a little bit of the story to him, which he said, this baby is a suspect, or she's a sexual assault suspect.
He reported the incident to the police, who promptly arrested the alleged rapist and his wife. The alleged rapist was charged to the magistrate court in No Man's Land, Kano, where the case lasted for 8 months before it was taken to the High Court. The High Court found him not guilty. But he says he has begun the process of appealing the court judgment.
They met some of my family friends, trying to pet them to talk to me. So what I remember...
What did they want? What, they were meeting your family friends to talk to you?
Yeah, to at least to resolve the issue, because they met a lot of people. So whenever someone came to me, I only asked him that, if this has been done to your daughter, how can you take it? So he was just silent. I would say, okay, allow me. This is my daughter. I'm the only one that knows how I feel.
His daughter, who is now 3 years old, has been facing medical complications from the rape and has undergone 4 surgeries to correct her anal and vagina area. For him, getting justice for his daughter has been expensive, daunting, and heartbreaking. Mrs. Blessing AJ knows this too well. On November 1st, 2019, her 3-year-old daughter was sexually abused by her 57-year-old male neighbor.
On the 1st of November, by 9 a.m., I leave my daughter with Mercy John. They are on meantime break. So I went to sell market. So around 11, they were just speaking to me, come back home, like they are whispering in my ear, come back home, come and look at Esther. I just come back home. I asked Mercy, where is Esther? She says she packed her clothes inside room that she washed. Before she comes, she saw Pape. They say, Pape, don't carry Mercy. I just dropped my things down, went direct to the Pape room. As I went direct to the Pape room, I opened the curtain. I saw Pape sleeping with my daughter. And nothing to do. I just shout, and crowd of people came and helped me carry the girl and took the Pape to police station and helped me carry the girl to police station.
With her sunken eyes showing much sadness, Mrs. AJ says trying to get justice for her daughter is putting her family under unbearable strain.
When you write the name of the drugs for us, we bought the drugs, we come back home, we couldn't sleep. We went to Nakowa Hospital. As we went to Nakowa Hospital, the woman started shouting that why we didn't bring her for the first time. She's supposed to sew the place because the place you have a long tearing. So that's the way the woman say, okay, she placed sort of antibiotic and some drugs. The body sat down on Sunday in the morning around 11. We went to Metama again because the condition is too much. Went to Metama, then put her inside one of a boy like this, put something in her front for more than 1 hour before they remove her. They do everything for her. We are the one that be going to the police station. They transfer her from this police station, Mabushi, to OCBN headquarters. That is area command. They took the Baba. They asked the Baba. The Baba told them yes, it's a temptation. So they asked the Baba, all this one, the children, they are trying to threat us because they look at that, I don't have anything, I don't have money. They are trying to threat us that their father is too old to go to prison. Their father is too old. So what I need, this kind of situation, I need help. And I need prayer because I didn't get it very easy. It's not easy to, you a mother, to see somebody molesting your daughter. It's not easy.
So how has it been in the police station? As in, are they helping?
No, nobody helped. And the one that removed my money, everything, they took us to police hospital. I pay money. We come back, I complain to them the way the condition is. They say we should go to another hospital. I pay money, even money to collect result from that police hospital. Everything I give them. Money for file in the police station in Mabushi, I give them. In that headquarters, I give them. So everything is me. The transport, everything is me. So I didn't get it easy. I didn't see any help.
We visit the FCT Police Area Command in Gariki, Abuja, where Mrs. AJ's case was taken. I want to get an update on the matter.
From the facts of the case, a mother left the child unattended in pursuit of some other things. And then the mother suddenly realized that the child was not within sight. So they started looking for the child and found that the child was in the room of one 75-year-old man. And he was caught pants down, raping the child. So we moved in swiftly, got him arrested. Fortunately, he confessed, and we have charged the matter to court.
The Deputy Commissioner of Police Criminal Intelligence and Investigation Department says he is not unmindful of the costs of getting justice for sexual abuse victims. He also disagrees with concerns raised by gender-based activists that the police would rather prosecute sexual crime using lesser laws rather than the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law.
When you talk about costs, most often people tend to look at the material cost of pursuing justice. And most often people talk about probably transporting policemen up and down. I want to tell you that we are not unmindful of some of these situations. I want to tell you that I want to tell you that I'm not unaware that probably these things are happening. But in this office, most often we had transported victims. As a matter of fact, we have not only transported victims, we have paid for medical bills of victims. But you don't hear people talk about that, because when a law is promulgated in a particular jurisdiction, it requires that it is domesticated so that it will be of universal and general application. But here in the FCT, we apply the VAB Act. As a matter of fact, before we charge you to court, we look at how better is the penal code, or how better is the penal code, how better is the VAB Act, and we look for the one that will not allow you escape if we strongly believe and there's a prima facie case that you have actually committed the offense. So we charge. So here we use the VAB Act. As a matter of fact, we complement it with the Child Rights Act.
Later in the evening, we catch up with gender-based activist Dorothy Njamanzi, who agrees to speak with us on her way to the airport. She wants more humane response protocols for sexual and gender-based violence.
What is the cost? What does it take for a victim of sexual or gender-based violence to get justice? Whether the victim or the parents and guardians of victims, what does it cost?
So currently, let's look at it from a victim who is a minor. So this victim, who is a minor, 2 years old for instance, 6 months old, is expected to pay for the medicals of the person, that's the victim, because a baseline assessment has to be done, and then the victim is supposed to pay for medicals of the violator or violators. So your rapist or rapist, you are expected to pay for their medicals. Now, when you're done with that, you're expected to pay for police investigation. Many people will not commence treatment on you until a policeman has appeared from the police station. The cost of the policeman's movement is on you. Then the police investigations all through is on you, the victim. Remember, the victim we're looking at is a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, 6-month-old, you know. And if the matter gets minuted to legal, the police prosecutors, upon appearance in court, usually collect an average of 5,000 naira for every appearance. Many people can barely afford to eat food. And so until these basics that amount to importance for access to justice for victims of sexual and gender-based violence are taken care of by government and made free so that everybody can access justice, then justice is very, very, very expensive. With domestic violence, I've not only heard about it, I've experienced it. I have been experiencing it. If you take an inventory on crimes that the Child Rights Act, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, the VAP Act, and even the Anti-Cyber Crimes Act are supposed to provide remedies for, you'll find that most of them have been charged to lesser courts as lesser crimes. And this is by far denying people of the basic access to justice that they deserve. Remember that the essence of these new laws is to bring Nigeria to meet world best practices. And if we're still cheating people who deserve these things, then what's the essence of the laws?
But what do you think is responsible for the police choosing to use, you know, in your own words, lesser laws instead of the VAP Act in states which have domesticated the VAP Act?
So they'll tell you things like it's cheaper for them to use the lesser courts. That with the lesser courts, they can just take any crime and go in. In fact, I heard something called holding charges, where you charge with something pending when you're able to get the money to charge with the proper thing that it's supposed to be. These things sabotage access to justice. These things re-traumatize victims. These things, you know, emotionally tear down victims again. So not charging crimes to appropriate courts, it doesn't give victims an opportunity to translate from being victims into being survivors. They are continually re-victimized. They claim, the police usually claims that to make it to a high court is very expensive. To make it to a federal high court is very expensive. My question is, why has the government refused to deliberately invest in helping the police to make it to whatever court the police needs to be in? Right now, justice in Nigeria is available only for those who can pay for justice. I mean, for us, we consistently go to social media to beg for money to help people as the cases come up. But that's not a sustainable plan. We need responsibility on behalf of, on the side of the government. We need corporate social responsibility investment in response protocols to addressing sexual and gender-based violence situations. We define punishment in the VAP Act. So why can the police not latch on what is available legally to ensure there's access to justice? The police will keep making excuses that it is underfunded. And so we come back to the basics. Police funding, police funding. The police is ripping victims of what they could have used to buy food. They're using it to pay for files in the police station. They're using it to pay for hospital fees and all of those things. The police needs to be funded to be able to handle investigations independently.
Gender-based activists say access to justice for victims of rape and other forms of sexual abuse is not cheap and takes a toll on victims financially and emotionally. They're advocating special courts to handle cases of gender-based violence, more funding for the police to equip it to conduct proper investigation at no cost to victims, as well as setting up gender desk units at police stations. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.